But guess what? 19% of the population in Glasgow are actually on out-of-work benefits. In Birmingham, it's 20%, in Liverpool, it's 21%, and in Blackpool, which is one of the poorest cities in the country, or towns, depending on what you want to call it, 25%. A quarter of their working-age population are on out-of-work benefits. Let's talk to Reem Ibrahim from the IEA, who can explain this for us. These are government figures, Reem. Very good morning to you.
Good morning.
So, the government are telling us this is the Department of Work and Pensions figure. They're basically saying there are plenty of jobs in all of these cities, but there are more people who are deciding not to take those jobs. Why?
Absolutely. I mean, we're looking at these figures now. It's effectively saying that 1 in 5 people in Glasgow, Manchester and Liverpool, these are working age people, are on out-of-work benefits. This is a huge, huge waste of human potential. I mean, we can talk about the waste of taxpayer money, the amount that we're currently spending on the welfare state. But actually, you know, at the crux of this is a huge waste of human potential. I suspect that many of these people aren't sick. We're talking about 5.4 million people. That is an astonishing figure. I suspect many of those people aren't actually sick, but even if they are, the story here is that there are way too many people on those out-of-work benefits. It is either a failure of the welfare state, which I suspect it is, or it's a failure of the healthcare system.
Yeah, I mean, according to the data that The Spectator has obtained from the Department for Work and Pensions, 7.6% of Glasgow is on incapacity benefit, 11.3% of the city is on the workless component of universal credit, which is what used to be job seekers allowance. So that means 19% of all people available for work, almost 1 in 5. And I mean, again, is it because the system is too complicated or too easy to navigate for people who want to swing the lead? Because I get told regularly by people, whenever I talk about this, it's actually really hard to get unemployment benefit or, you know, universal credit, whatever they want to call it. And some offices are very, very, shall we say, impenetrable if you try to convince them that you're sick.
Yeah, so it's those people that are on long-term sickness benefits. So to be counted as long-term sick on benefits, you've got to be on benefits for about a year. Yeah. After that year, you're no longer counted in unemployment figures. So I think that that's really the clear difference here. There's also the element of the fact that before the pandemic, the Department for Work and Pensions were actually auditing and looking at all of those people, checking and doing those sorts of assessments to make sure that they actually are incapable of working. Unfortunately, that kind of thing doesn't happen again. It went from between 200,000 assessments to 1 million every quarter. Now that's down to about 300,000. So again, we're not doing the same sorts of assessments that we used to.
And the problem would seem to be that people are being sort of dispatched into the dustbin of history as a result of this system, because according, again, to the Spectator figures, the sickness benefit claims specifically for mental health result in loads of people just being written off, and everybody just assumes, well, they can't work, so they'll never have to work, we'll never give them job offers, we'll never encourage them to do anything, and so they'll spend their lives probably on benefits.
Yeah, and it really is cyclical with these particular individuals. So across the country, we're talking about 5.4 million people on out-of-work benefits. That just as a single figure is astonishing. And, you know, as you said, I mean, it really is a huge waste of human potential. These are people that could be doing fantastic things with their lives. We've got huge numbers of vacancies, as you've already outlined, especially in those 3 cities, Liverpool, Glasgow and Manchester. And yet people aren't being able to take up those jobs because, A, the incentives aren't there. There aren't those incentives to go into those jobs rather than be on benefits. And I actually think that this kind of self-fulfilling prophecy sort of occurs. If you're being told that you are too sick to work and you're being accepted onto those benefits, of course you're not wanting to go back to work in the first place. You're being sort of told that you're incapable of doing that. And I think it's a huge, huge waste. It's awfully depressing. We need to get those people back into work rather than trying to fill up those vacancies with cheap labour from abroad.
Right, and that is what is being accused of, the government's been accused of allowing to happen, which is that basically the migration figures go up and up and up. The jobless figures for the people who are living in this country already go up and up and up, and never the twain shall meet. And it's being called the great sort of political dilemma, because how can you fix that problem? How do you get that 20% of people back into work, and how do you stop so many people coming in to work for less money?
Well, we've got to hugely overhaul the welfare system, and you know, we can't have our cake and eat it. We've got to fill up those vacancies, and if it's not being done by people that already live in this country, that are already claiming benefits, then it has to be done by through labour abroad. You know, it has to be done either way. Otherwise, we can kiss goodbye to any sort of vision of economic growth. The solution to the system really is to get those people back into work, and that would be a huge overhaul of the system. We need to make sure that those people actually are fulfilling their human potential. So I would say actually a sort of huge overhaul, also bringing back those kind of assessments the Department for Work and Pensions used to do, where they would audit those people and ensure that they actually are incapable of working. We've got to get back those systems, otherwise, you know, post-pandemic, we're going to see this ever-increasing number of people on out-of-work benefits.
Absolutely right. Reem, thanks very much indeed. Reem Ibrahim from the IEA, the Institute of Economic Affairs.